I want to share with you my very first Chanel handbag unboxing. Honestly, this bag is not exactly the bag that I thought would be my very first from Chanel, but it is one that kind of captured me, and it's very similar to what I thought would be my very first Chanel bag. Here is my shopping bag. I have it flat compact because I did stick it in my luggage. I bought my very first Chanel handbag from Tokyo, Japan. Because it was my very first Chanel bag, I did qualify to get the little booklets. Again, it is my very first time, and apparently they only give you this whenever you get your very first bag. In here, in case you are also new to the Chanel world, comes a booklet. It does have a little bit of photos, but basically it is just how they make the bags, I believe. And then here is a little paper bag. It is holding what I think is a polishing cloth. Let me see. And so it is. Again, if you don't have anything Chanel like me, it has a little pocket where you can actually use it like a glove, I'm assuming. This is the box. I have my little camellia still in a good kind of condition, which is great, and I love that. So I'm very nervous. I actually don't know how do people like undo this so eloquently. Like, is there a way? Is there a method? Can I slide this? Nope, it is tight on there. Ah, like, this is so pretty. Let me see. Can I just do this? Like, I don't want to rip the flower, so if you're like, oh, just break into it, that's what I'm trying to avoid. Okay, here we go. I think I'm finding, oh, this is nice. I don't think I'm gonna be able to redo this at all. Okay, this is enough because the paper is like a little, it's like a sticker on there. I know some people keep these, they put like a little safety pin, use it like a brooch. I've seen that happen. And then also some people draw on these, or apparently there's some like limited edition ones. I don't really know too much, but I am happy that I have one. All right, so here is the box itself. And I think this is the front. All right. So very nervous. I'm not thinking anymore. And here is the interior of the box. All right, so, oh, actually, I wonder if this is something that they do, like the actual sticker wasn't on there fully, like pressed onto the tissue paper. I have like a sneeze like waiting to come out, if you're kind of wondering like what is happening to her. All right, let me put this off the side. Okay, so I wanted and I searched for a classic mini flap in black in a few different countries, particularly a rectangle. And those were like incredibly hard to find. Every time that I went to a different Chanel boutique in Japan, they brought out like contenders or items that were similar to the classic mini flap. And I did get to see actual mini flaps in the rectangular size in a different variety of colors. So they had like a navy, they had a brown with a top handle, they had a burgundy with a top handle. They also had two different variations of beautiful grays. I did like one of the deeper grays, and if I can find it online, I will share with you what that one in particular is. And there was one bag that they kept kind of showing me in a black, and this one was in caviar. And that bag in particular, I saw it in so many different boutiques that towards the end I was like, okay, if I can't find what I want or something very similar to what I want, then that bag is kind of growing on me. Except that bag like looking at it head on, it kind of looked sort of like, you know, like two little butt cheeks and like a thong. I'm gonna put an image right here. And I thought that was a little bit interesting, but at the same time, it kind of looks like maybe like if you have a sweater folded up together, like if it has like the top pockets, that kind of sort of vibe as well, like a jersey knit that is folded down. That can also be it too. And this bag, it had two little pockets that the associate tried on like the card that is inside of the bag, inside one of the little sleeves, and it didn't quite fit just right. But I do think that particular card is a little bit bigger than like a debit card, credit card, or ID sort of sizing. So I do think that that can be used like a little wallet sort of, or maybe the card did fit, because I was like, okay, that is a good option, because I technically only really have my debit card and my driver's license with me at all times, sometimes cash, but the bag also had like an interior zipper pocket where I could have stuck in cash if I needed to resort to that one, but I didn't end up going for that one. And so this one I ended up buying from Shinjuku. There was a mall there, I think it is Shimaya Mall. It's kind of close to like the Tokyo JR station or the Shinjuku station, and it's that building. But the only thing with that particular building is that since the Chanel is inside of a mall, you need to go up to a different floor to get like your tax refund. Whereas if you buy from an actual Chanel boutique, they'll do it all in-house and you don't have to worry about anything further. At least that is the current process now. I do know in 2026 the refunds are going to start to be at the airport and not at the individual boutiques at the time of purchase. So just kind of update there in case you did not know. Let me go ahead and show you this bag. This is a mini flap in lambskin that I could just slip it, obviously, but that is not the case. I've also had this bag in the box for a hot minute, so I was like, okay, I hope that it's doing fine in there. But then I thought, okay, well, there's people that store their bags inside the boxes, so it should be technically fine. I'm having the hardest time. You should probably be like, you do not need to be buying any Chanel bags. So here is the bag that I got. This is a mini square classic flap, and it is in a like seasonal sort of style because it does have an adjustable strap. So it's not necessarily the classic mini and square. This bag is, of course I knew it existed. It's not necessarily a bag that I was like, okay, this is the bag that I would be able to settle with. The reason why I went with this bag is because whenever I tried on this bag compared to another mini that was in a more rectangular sort of shape, and they did have one, not the exact classic mini in the rectangular, but another seasonal that sort of was in a rectangular shape. I like the chain on that one. It was kind of like double and it had like mini CCs through, and it also had like a mini chain that kind of served like a little top handle sort of action. I said no to that one because the interior was like fabric and this one was a little bit different. But whenever I tried on this one, I thought the size to my proportion, and it could have been my outfit too, was just a little bit better, a little bit more cuter. And I thought that, wow, like this bag, while it wasn't like my top for a mini size bag from Chanel, like it did kind of capture my attention seeing it. And black to me is sort of like a tricky color to work with. It is either something that looks a little bit too petite, or it can be a little bit overwhelming if it's too big. So this one I thought was just like the right fit. So it's been in the box since, so I haven't actually tried it out with a different outfit, and today will be that first day since seeing it in store. Hopefully I will still have these same thoughts, but let me take you through the bag. And I'm someone who doesn't like care for bag organizers inside of the bags, but this one, like I mentioned, it's not fabric inside, so I will most definitely be looking into handbag organizers just to kind of protect it. This is officially my most expensive bag within my handbag collection. Even though it is my very first Chanel bag, it was most important for me to get my very first from the actual boutique because I don't have any. And I could have done it pre-owned. I could have actually got the mini, and I did see a few out there. Some of them were not necessarily in a great condition, and a lot of them, they were about the same price as retail. So about, I think retail in the States, it is like $5,400. I believe that's what it retails. This one in the States, the actual non-seasonal mini flap in square, I think it's $5,200. This one being seasonal, it was a little bit more. I think this one in the States is very close to $6,000. I would put the pricing right here of what it retails currently in the USD pricing. In Japan, you do qualify for 10% back in whatever the price is, just because you don't live there, or at least I don't live there. So if you are planning to visit Japan, just kind of expect that sort of pricing back. I do believe there is a minimum that you need to spend to qualify for the percentage back. Now, currently, there is a service in between that takes a little bit of a commission. So in total, I only got 9% back, and 1% was given to the company that helped facilitate the refund through Global Blue. And this was at the mall. I think if you shop at the actual boutique, you might get the full 10%. I don't really know. Like, for example, I got some LV cosmetics and I did get the full 10% in the actual store. It could be better to shop at an actual boutique, at least as far as it concerns Japan. Every country is certainly different. So 832,000 yen. And again, I got 9% tax back from that pricing. As I was saying about bag organizers, is not just protect the interior, but also for the chain. I've seen a lot of bags in the pre-owned market where the chain has imprinted on the leather. And so this one was actually, the chain was wrapped in the paper, and I find that I need to do something like that ASAP. So now that it is out of the box, I might honestly have it just hanging like this until I find the little protector or some kind of solution to make sure the chain is not resting in the bag. And I can also tuck it in and rest it inside, but then again, the interior might get markings. I don't know. If you have this bag, let me know how you store it. And if it's not this exact bag, how do you store your mini bags or your Chanel lambskin bags? So on to actually a little bit of a tour. Okay, so something that I had to do before actually, you know, even giving payment was first, she took the bag out to the back to inspect it to make sure it was in sellable condition, meaning there was no defects to the naked eye. And that is something very interesting because in the United States, I hear like, you know, a lot of defects and the quality for Chanel is going down. So the fact that they did that, I don't know if it's a Japan only thing or if it's a Chanel going forward sort of thing, but I really did like that. And so I had already seen the bag as I was trying it on, and I thought it was perfect. But she did take it in, and then she brought it back out and she said, hey, please look at everything. There was a tiny bit of detail I saw in the chain. Whenever she pointed it out to me, like I was like, oh, I mean, you know, it's fine, it looks good. She was like, okay, then great. And then she's like, go look inside and everything. And I thought it was fantastic. And then another thing she said, she's like, okay, now that you're giving me okay, I am going to remove all the stickers because we have to do that. I think that is by design in preventing me from just walking out of Chanel and walking into a resale shop to see what I can get. So I have no stickers to peel, but that is okay with me. And so this is the interior of the bag. She did let me know within time, obviously here from opening and closing, there will be a little bit of creasing as well on the back side, just from the nature of how to access the actual bag. And I understand that, and I've seen that with a lot of, you know, classic flaps in general. Let me take this off. So the interior is a little bit special. It is gold in there, and it is a leather interior. On this side, or the little closing mechanism, is the chip does rest on that side of the wall, so it's going to be hard for me to show you, and even if I could show you, I'm not sure that I would want to, just because it is unique to the bag. Here in the back is a zipper and a slip compartment right there. Both of these are generous, like they're not tight. You can access them quite nicely. And I don't know if I've mentioned, but the hardware is H Gold hardware, and that does also match the actual zipper pull and the zipper itself, as I believe it should. So far we're doing really good at my experience with Chanel. I really love the interior on this one, and I thought it was perfect because one is a little bag, and if the interior would have been black, it probably would have been a little bit overwhelming, but the brightness of the gold interior is just a little bit of cheerful happiness inside, and I really did love that about this bag in particular. They did have this bag in a like baby pink, and I actually saw that bag a few times. I think I saw it in 3 different boutiques. I actually saw a lot of baby pink, and I've heard that baby pink is one of those like colors that sells out really fast for Chanel, but I saw a lot and they were very pretty. I did want to try a bag in particular, and that was the 25. I want to try it on in a small and in a medium. I was able to see it in both sizes. In the medium size, I did see it in the suede, which while I think the suede is beautiful in that particular handbag, I didn't exactly want it in the suede, preferably in black leather or a leather color that was not light, because I did get a chance to try on the small size 25 in a beige color, and honestly I thought that the small size looked a little bit interesting. So if I was to get that bag, I think I will lean more towards the medium size rather than the small. At least that's how I felt it on my body frame. But if I ever do decide to buy it, I think I would like to see the both sizes side by side. I couldn't have that opportunity on any of the boutiques. Like it was either one size or the other. There was a beautiful medium burgundy that someone was looking at, so I wasn't gonna like, you know, say, hey, can you give me that one so I can try it on and maybe buy it, you know what I mean? So I didn't get a chance to try it on, and I actually do think that she ended up buying it, which it's a beautiful color nonetheless, especially for this particular season. Yeah, I did see a lot of pink, and I fell in love with another bag that I didn't think was like a bag period. Like, I mean, I didn't think it was a model that Chanel had, and it is a seasonal bag. It is a little shopper tote that is just so pretty, and this bag looks incredible. And honestly, that bag was like this close of being the bag that I purchased. And after I bought this one, we went into another boutique and I asked for that bag, and they did have it, but the bag like in the one of the corners was like a little bit bent. I'm gonna show you a older GST photo so you can kind of see what I meant by like one of the corners, and that's the only one that they had, so I did not buy it. Otherwise I think I would have bought the 2 because I really love that one too, and I think it's like a perfect size. But anyways, she told me this is adjustable, and when you want to do the adjustment, press it all the way and then start moving the chain. Don't press it a little bit where it will give you a give and you start moving the chain, because if you do that, it's going to start disrupting the actual color on the metal, and it's going to start tearing the actual leather piece. So I'm gonna come up close to kind of show you, and I think like for the most part this would be like a no-brainer, right? But here is the clasp, and she meant press it literally all the way down. My fingers are kind of shaking, to where you can see the entire chain visibly, and then start moving it through. I think I am just going to find my comfortable height and then just kind of leave it there, and that's it. You can shorten it down, and that's one of the things that I really liked about this bag. Because of the adjustable chain, this bag can be transformed into a crossbody, a long shoulder, or a short shoulder, and I'm pretty sure there might be an additional way to wear it, but as of now those are the only 3 ways that I think I would be wearing this bag in particular. And I love the way the bag looks in each of those 3 settings, especially this little end detail right here that kind of hangs on. So I'm going to do a quick what fits in here, starting off with my iPhone. I have the iPhone 17 Pro, and I also do have a little, you know, charm from my trip on there. So here is my iPhone, and this phone fits in here quite well, and I did try it on in store. Like I mentioned, this was the only thing I actually put in there, and as soon as they fit, I was like, okay, perfect. I can squeeze everything in fine, or I I can work with whatever else I want to put in here. So there is the iPhone right there. And then I brought out my wallets. This is the Key Clay by Louis Vuitton. So it's pretty compact. So basically anything that is shorter in height compared to the iPhone will basically fit in here. And so it is right in there. Now, the thing about this particular bag is that I can use like the back pocket if I want to hold my cards. As I said, I only really walk around with 2 cards, my debit card and my driver's license. So I think that back pocket will be plenty, or I can use one of the slip pockets as my actual wallet. So I'm gonna pretend like I did here. I'm gonna put the receipt in that slip pocket and pretend that is my cards. And then for some interesting reason, I had a mini hairbrush from Wet Brush, the brand, inside of my bag. I'm currently using the Speedy 25. So this, in case you're wondering, it does fit in there. But because of the little teeth for the comb, I don't want that to press into the leather. Again, I might get an organizer for that, but here is a travel perfume spray. This is by Tom Ford. That is in there. I have my Chanel double facet mirror that is in here in an orange, and wow, this is becoming like an orange theme in here. My lip combo of the day, I have a Velvet Teddy by MAC, and then I also have the Sarina lip gloss by Buxom. I don't know if the lip gloss will fit, but we can certainly find out. Ooh, and it does. And then I have my lip gloss, my lipstick over top, and I have a little bit of a space. I have my little AirPods here, and that all fits right in there. So here is the inside of the bag. I have my my AirPods, my lipstick, my mirror. Under this you will see my lip gloss as well as a travel perfume, and then obviously I have my phone, and then I have the receipt right here that's going to resemble my, you know, debit card, credit card, what have you. Now let me see if this will close, because again, I didn't try putting a lot of things in here the way I have it now whenever I was looking at the bag in the store. Okay, so I think my AirPods will fit if I take off the case, but for now I'm just gonna leave it out, and then let me see if it lets me close it just a little bit better. Okay, and yes, it does close. Do you close? It does close. So I have all of that, and obviously the bag is just a little bit heavier because it has a lot of things in there. And now that you see this, she did tell me, make sure you fix the chain first before trying to wear it or even do the adjustment, because again, you're gonna hurt the leather as well as the metal. She gave me like the whole ins and outs, care what to do, what not to do with your bag. I did tell her this was my very first Chanel as well. And so here's a little bag. Let me do a few mug shots. Okay, keeping it at short shoulder or the same height that I was showing you, like right here. Actually, it's more like a medium shoulder bag. I'm bringing it up just a little bit higher to be a short shoulder or a shorter shoulder. And I do sort of think that the chain being too long could possibly be a little bit of a hazard, but assuming it is a safe world out there and there is no final destination to be, no bad juju, no nothing, then I think it'll be safe. But what I like about the little small feature is that it is tiny enough to where I can kind of feed it back through inside of the bag if I feel like it's hanging too much in excess. And obviously I do have a little bit of leather here that it will be touching, so that would probably be only like really special moments. Okay, so I have about maybe like 6 inches or so of the chain hanging, and I think this would be an okay crossbody, but let's find out. I think honestly this would be a long shoulder or a crossbody bag for me only, and I still love the way that I have additional ways of wearing it if I ever do decide to do that. Let me actually take everything out of the bag. I really love this bag because of the versatility, the interior. I mentioned how cheerful and beautiful I think it is, and how it fits my phone, which is my primary reason, or not reason, but one of the deal breakers for this bag. And I brought out my passport holder just to kind of show you. I had my passport with me at the time, but I did not put it in my little baggie here, but it does fit, and it's right in there, and the phone will fit right next to it because there's plenty of space there. So if you just wanted this to exclusively be your travel bag, and like this was everything that you needed to carry with you, this, at least my passport holder in particular, and this is true for most of them, they do have some card slots that you can use as your wallet if you so wanted to. And this was kind of handy. I kind of used it like to hold my receipts, so it was very handy to have around in general. This was the very first black mini that I saw at the stores. Most of the ones, like I said, they were in different colors, whether that was in the square or the rectangle sort of shape. So whenever I saw this one, even though I had my eye on the rectangle and not necessarily the square, after trying this on, I thought this was a little bit more cutesy rather than the rectangle. At least the rectangle in the color made available to try on, that might have been the reason why I'm like, okay, maybe not those and yes this. But it was almost like instant love, and honestly I think the chain has a lot to do with that. I probably would have guessed that my first bag would have had silver tone hardware or champagne, just because I feel like that's a little bit more flexible with me and my day-to-day. I do wear a lot of silver, but this one is actually quite nice and edgy. And I did get an opportunity to see a classic flap with the gold prior to them switching from real gold to not real gold. Luscious, beautiful. That gold cannot be beat. That bag in particular was $9,000, and it was pre-owned, obviously, because they don't make actual real gold anymore. Yeah, I was kind of like it's gorgeous, but not exactly what I was looking for. I was aiming for a mini first. Whenever I was trying on this bag, like I said, it was the only black mini. There was two other customers that wanted to see it, and I think they were probably having the same experience as me, as not being able to find a classic mini flap in black. While the bag is with a particular customer, the associates cannot like shift it around until that particular customer either says, nope, I'm not interested, or you know, the customer leaves the actual store. There was an associate that kind of like chimed in like on the earbud to the advisor that I was currently working with. She was like, oh, my colleague let me know that there's someone that's interested in the bag, but please, no rush. Please make your decision whatever you feel is best. And I thought that was very nice of her. I love that because, again, it was the first time I was encountering this that I'm like, I am leaning towards this more than the other one anyways. Right before she took the bag back to kind of do like an inspection and whatnot, I was trying it on one last time, and there was a lady, not exactly the one that had asked for the bag before, but someone who had just walked into the boutique. She went straight to the associate. At this point in time, I had taken the bag off to hand it over so she could take it back to do the inspection, and so the lady came rushing over and she told the associate, she was like, oh, can I see that? And then the associate was like, oh, no, like, do not touch. And I thought that was like interesting. Like, I didn't know what was about to happen. And so at that point in time, like, I already had made my decision that I was going to be buying this. So it's not like that swayed me to get it even more. Like, I had been to different countries looking for a mini flap, and I just didn't know the square was the one for me until I tried it on, like I've mentioned a few different times. I don't know if this is like Japan Chanel or Chanel everywhere, or just my luck in the experience that I did have at that Chanel boutique. I thought that it was a great experience. I loved it. I had a great experience at all the boutiques that I visited during my trip in Japan. And honestly, I will be buying once more from Chanel because of the experience, because just like everything. And I do like their products as well. I just, haven't purchased anything until now. I took a little break to have dinner because I was starving, and my husband finally had made it home with some tacos. I had 5 mini tacos de bistec with aguacate and queso asadero on top. And now I'm happy and my stomach is happy as well, and hopefully I can now, think straight. But while I did take my break, I did remember about I don't know if it's like the retail tag or like the tag that says what collection the bag is from. So that card, we took a picture of it, but we don't have the physical card because she said she needed to keep it. And again, I think it's a part of like the whole anti-reselling within Japan for foreigners. And so I think that's the reason for that. I think it's just like A is probably spring summer, and then B might be fall winter. I don't know, but I think that is what that means. And then 25 I'm assuming is the year. So that is what this is, and they do make it in a light pink color, and as far as I know it only comes in those 2 colors. I did see a mini rectangle and it looks a little bit bigger than the actual mini rectangle classic flap, but it could be the color because I was told like it's the same size. But that one that I saw was in an all gold color, like a metallic gold, and that bag was so beautiful. So I know before my little break for dinner, I was talking about how I do really feel that I would buy from Chanel once more, specifically from the boutique. There are some bags that I'm interested in that are no longer available at the store, so I would have to resort to exclusively finding those pre-owned. That all metallic gold color, honestly, I do think that that would be a good contender for my collection, because at first I thought, okay, well, it's metallic, the metallic might flake over time, but I was seeing Minx for All, she did her Chanel collection video a few weeks back, and I will link it down below, but she has a metallic bag that she was saying that she thought similar, and it's actually wearing quite great. So that kind of reminded me of that all gold bag, and that bag looks stunning, and it was in a caviar. So that's one of the bags that I'm kind of like, okay, rethinking because of, that experience that I heard through her. And I know Chanel does a lot of colors. It's one of the brands that makes color well outside of like Hermes. I know Dior makes pretty colors too, but I think for now I would like to stick with Chanel as like my next target of bag that I would like to get. Outside of that one, I really did like the little small shopping tote that I kind of mentioned earlier, and that's, I think it's also a fall winter only, and that's the thing with Chanel, they have a lot of like exclusives, so once it's gone, that sort of thing. So kind of TBD on that one, because I did get this one, and this one was not cheap by any means. I do have to take a few weeks to recuperate, first enjoy it, right, and then kind of like simmer through like what is it that I really actually feel and think about Chanel after using this for some weeks or months, outside of today being the first day holding it at home. So by then the bag itself might not be in stores anymore, but we shall see. This particular bag I feel is good for me because I've wanted the Chanel GST for a very long time, and I did find a few in the resale shops in Japan, but some of them were not really like exactly in the condition that I wanted it. Like a lot of the hardware was like peeling for most of them, or like they had corner wear, or they didn't come with like a dust bag or like a authenticity card. And I kind of wanted to have like those 2 things present, as well as the actual bag being fantastic, which at this point in time it's probably very rare, but I would primarily like to stick with buying all of my Chanel bags from the boutique. But again, just so depends, because I know there are some deals to have out there in the market. Another bag that I would be interested in getting after this one is the Chanel 19. I did try it on in black in the small size, and I feel like that size definitely is for me. So that's a bag that I can get here at home. So I was like, okay, I can do that in some weeks time. And then another bag that I really want is the Chanel Jumbo. That one would be exclusively a shoulder bag for me because it is a little bit too big and whatnot, but I love it. I feel like it's fantastic. It's like one of those fun sort of bags for me. Gotta find one in a great condition, and honestly for me that would have to be a pre-owned bag because it is very expensive at the store. But anyways, let me know what it is that you think about my new handbag, and let me know if you have one like this, and also how do you store your bags that are like Chanel or any that have a chain in like a soft leather. I want to thank you so very much for spending a little bit of your day with me, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.